Good morning, classmates. My name is Barbara Thomas, and I'm one of the students sharing this class with you, which has been awesome. And we have to make a video today, and here in Oklahoma City is the morning hour, and I believe it's like 10:15 here, maybe wherever you are, it could be 9:15, I'm not for sure. But we're discussing this week about conflicts, and after reading in the book, I saw several in there, but the one that I want to focus on is one that I had the experience with most recently, and that's an interpersonal conflict. And I believe this is the biggest conflict that you can have in most all the churches. I believe that this is the one that causes a lot of divisions in churches. And I witnessed this past weekend at a rehearsal. There's a conference going on here at Christ Holy Sanctified, one of the conferences here that they normally have every year. And I was at a rehearsal where there was children preparing for the youth night. And when you have in place a lot of different personalities, you tend to have this type of conflict. And when you're dealing with children of various ages, from little ones who are not experienced with school to the ones that are in high school and think they know everything, you tend to have this problem. You also can have it when the person that is the head of the youth, in this case would be the youth pastor, are trying to instruct the youth on a particular function that needs to be done at the conference. Then this type of conflict can arise very quickly. And first of all, I want to give you the definition of what I believe it is. Interpersonal is when you are dealing with various people, and it's a communication between all of those people, which leads to our ability of getting along together. And that's why I say this is a big one in most churches, because most interpersonal conflict involves, as I said before, various personalities. This is how we relate to each other in the church. This is how we learn to communicate with each other in church. And if we are not careful with this type of temperament, it can divide a church. And the thing that I noticed also on this weekend was there's a little bit of intrapersonal that comes out as well. And I know we're only to speak of one, but I need to bring intrapersonal in for a reason, because this is an emotional existence that is within each of us. We feel very passionate about something. We feel that our way could be the best way, or we hear what we want to hear and not hear others. And I noticed that this weekend in the rehearsal that there were some that was talking and wanted to get their point across, which allowed them to drown out ones that was speaking. I myself was addressing the youth this weekend on a particular scripture, 2 Timothy 2 verse 3, where it talked about us being dealing with the battles of life in order to endure those battles, that we may be soldiers in the army of God. And I was explaining to the children that as they were preparing to do this praise dance, I wanted them to vision themselves in a battle, preparing to go to war. And you must put on your biggest effort. You must put on the part that nothing else matters but what you're about to do. And the youth were talking and talking over me, and other children that were listening couldn't hear. So this became a conflict in itself that needed to be addressed. So my next part of my my summation here is how to dress with situations like that. It would be easy to jump in and say, could you please be quiet, I'm speaking, but that would not be appropriate, because in the process of trying to calm situations a lot of time with church people, you can raise other issues with church people. So I believe the best approach with this would be to, first of all, quiet myself, and that's what I did, or the individual that is involved. Instead of trying to outspeak or overspeak a person, it's best to just calm yourself and just take a moment and just stop and wait for that person to finish. And then when that person finished, then you can go back to addressing the reason why you stopped, and how we have to learn to listen to one another and not out-talk one another. We have to learn to be courteous with each other and humble before each other as Christians, because that's what Christ asks us to be. He asks us to be humble. And we have to teach the youth. The youth is the future church, and we have to teach them the proper way to address each other when speaking to each other. Because when you have the zeal, you are excited, because that's what zeal is. That means that you are excited. And when you are excited, you tend to, your personality or your temperament may take you to that next level. And that's what I was able to do. To explain to them, I just love their excitement and how much energy that they have into this dance that they were getting ready to do. But we have to learn, first of all, to listen to each other and respect each other, and not to talk when others are talking. And I told them that if I did that, that would be very rude to them for me to cut them off and talk while they're trying to speak. This is the biggest issue I think we have. We address issues sometimes which can lead to conflicts in the wrong way. First of all, it starts with us. It is something that we have to learn to do. First of all, when we're dealing with conflicts, we have to let it start within ourselves. We have to learn to address our attitude and emotions before we address it with someone else. And I was reading in our textbook under James, in James Berkeley. He's the author of the textbook. And the chapter 16, it deals with the various personality types. And it tells us about understanding personalities. And as a pastor or a leader, I think that is the number one thing that they have to do, is learn the personalities, the temperaments of the people that are under them or in service with them. And all this is just taking some time out to sit down with people and to talk to them, to get to know them. And once you get to know them and see their desires and what their purpose is, then it's easy to relate to them. I think a lot of time in church leadership, we tend to walk over each other because we feel like my idea is better than your idea. So there are various leadership styles, and that's what my book was saying to me, that there are various leadership styles, and all leadership styles can work together in a church if you learn each other's temperament. And Hayford is the author of this particular chapter here, and one of the things that he said that is in here that I want to share with you before I close out: temperament is our unique God-given behavior style. We need to understand temperament because ministry involves working with different kinds of people and various behavior styles. By identifying our own style and the behavior styles of others, we can increase our ministry effectiveness. And that last part, increase ministry effectiveness, is what stood out to me the most in this. This whole journey that we're on is about being effective in ministry, not so much for ourselves and each other, but for the ones that are out there in the world. As we were given a great commission, our practice place is in the church. And when we learn how to communicate with each other in the church and learn how to work through our conflicts and our differences, it'd be easier for the people on the outside who we're trying to get inside to see that we are or we do know what we're doing and what we're talking about. So my suggestion for this particular conflict, interpersonal and intrapersonal, and I put them both together because sometimes you have an intra will cause the whole inter to go off in a rehearsal setting, a meeting setting, but both of them kind of works in there together. So the thing of it is, we have to learn, first of all, to listen, to each other, we have to learn, first of all, to know each other, or to learn each other. And learning is something that's not done overnight, but it's something that is done gradually. And then we have to learn to respect each other and learn to work together well with each other. So that's my presentation to you, and you be blessed. And I pray that something I said will be a benefit to you as well. Have a great day.